Welcome back to Uncontested Investing. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today, I'm here with another friend of mine from the No Limit Mastermind, Dustin James. Dustin, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I almost gave you a different name, like Dusty James or James. What did he called you? Justin?
Yeah, everybody does that.
Well, I mean, it's interchangeable, right? Anyway, I'm kidding. So, thank you for being here. You guys drove up today from Houston to go to the No Limit Mastermind the next couple of days.
Oh, yeah.
I got to meet you in Atlanta earlier this year. Love your story. Love what you're doing. I can't wait to share it with the audience, but take about 60 seconds. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Dustin James. I run new construction. I do wholesaling as well. Anything real estate investing, that's my investment company. I also have a JD Homes under another entity of JLD Construction. We did remodels for, really that's how I got started, right? Like I did remodels for 2 years, and then I was like, to me, it wasn't enough money to build it to where potential $1 million a year, that was really your cap, unless you just went all over Texas. So at that point I was like, all right, I knew since I was in college, I was going to do new construction one day on my own. I even have it in a little book I wrote down 5 years ago. Hey, in 5 years, this is where you're going to be. And to every date I've hit till I got to finally build my first new build in my name, I was like, holy crap. Look back in the book, I still have it. And I'm like, no way. I really just hit every marker on every date that I said I was going to hit. And it's just crazy for me, I don't know what you believe in, but for me, I believe in God and I believe His will be done. I tried to rush that more times than I can count, and it's bit me in the butt every single time. So now I just let it roll, and it's amazing really like how far I've come letting Him do what He wants me to do, not what I want me to do.
I'm in complete agreement. There's a reason for everything. In my hometown, they call me Mr. Fantastic at a lot of these restaurants because when I walk in, first thing everybody always says is, how are you? I'm like, fantastic. How are you? And a lot of that comes from my time in the military. I've seen some things in this world that I just believe there's no such thing as a bad day in America. So like, I may want to buy a private island this month, but if it's not like that time for me yet, like cool, I'm still happy.
Right.
Like I'm grateful to be where I am and who I am and have what I have and to have a healthy family and stuff. So I'm with you. I know I'm destined for something, and just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and
exactly,
I have the utter confidence that it will work itself out.
100%.
So first segment, every show is called the bottom line up front. So up to 2 minutes. Think of it as if someone's going to start listening and then stop and get gas and forget to turn the thing back on, or wipe calls and talks to them all the way to work. They never get to finish this episode. I want you to take up to 2 minutes, share with the audience the things that you're seeing in the market, things you think they should be doing, maybe things they should be avoiding, important takeaways, kind of the clip notes of the next 35 minutes. Good to go?
Good to go.
Go.
All right, so if you're going to be focusing on new builds and new construction, new development, and that's all you're looking into doing, you need to focus on every sub that you have, whether it's concrete, frame, roof, tile, flooring, anything that it is. Make sure you trust them, make sure they're going to do a good job, and make sure they're not going to cut your feet out from under you every time you need a new price. So for me, really hone in on perfecting your craft, perfecting what it's going to be from start to finish, because there's a lot of moving parts in new construction. It's not just, oh, I buy a lot, oh, I build a house. People think that they watch these videos on YouTube or something. It's like, oh, watch this video, you can build a house. It's not that easy. You need to focus on your permitting, where you're zoned at, all the above with new builds. So just make sure you have trusted contractors and trusted professionals that can teach you from start to finish.
One of the things you talked about reminded me when I first met you a couple months ago in Atlanta. And I was just blown away. I mean, you're 29. You look a little younger than 29, honestly.
I need to grow my beard, Michelle.
But your knowledge and understanding of new construction is next level. Like you were spitting out the prices and the times, and I mean, I know people who've been building for 20 years that like don't know what you know. Where did you learn all that?
Man, I graduated with my construction science degree I went and worked for a custom home builder full time, but even learning everything I learned from them, I didn't learn what I learned on my own. Like, honestly, you're not going to learn everything working for someone else. I mean, I had to hone in on really teaching myself, watching videos, checking out how can I do this faster at every level. Like when I knew I was up, 4 months before I was about to quit my job, I took their template and I looked at it and I was like, I'm going to study this every night for the next, as long as I have to be able to study it, right? Because when I quit, they're going to take my iPad. I'm not going to have it anymore. So let me study this the best I can. Well, I got one of those free apps with just allows you to do kind of how their templates were to start from start to finish. So I started just clicking in the way I would want to build and how fast I would build if I did it myself. So I made my whole template. Still have it to this day. Once you get good at it, you can kind of do it in your sleep. You no longer need it. But it taught me like, okay, I never had to go to the city and get a permit. I never had to call the inspectors and get the inspections directly because I already had numbers and emails. I sent it out. Somebody did it, right? That was my job,
right,
as a project manager. So doing that for myself, it was just clear, concise, and cut. And I was like, this is easy. And people are like, dude, how'd you build so fast? I'm like, honestly, I thought it was easy. I understand how trades work as well, right? Like I've been around them so much now, like I'm really cool with all of them. Like all my guys trust me. They know they're going to get paid. There's no back and forth. They don't show up to my job and leave and don't call me. Like if something happens, they call me immediately. Hey, Mr. Dustin, I can't be there today. Something happened to my family. I'm like, look, and I'm super cool with them. I'm not that, you allowed to cuss on here? Sure. I'm not that project manager that's not cussing. Not that. But that's what most people are. Like the old school builders, like they're just absolute to their trades. And I'm like, why do you treat them like that? Why do you think you're better than them? That's the way I used to look at it, right? So I got to the point of like, now I'm their friend, but they also understood who was the boss.
Right.
Like I walked in a couple times and I had food on the countertop, brand new countertop, just food and drink on the countertop. And I'm like, I'd literally just be like, I'm not going to yell in here, but I yell at them like, this is ridiculous. I treat you fairly. I expect you to treat this house that I'm building fairly. Get it out. If you do it again, you already know you're going to be replaced. Because I have 5 trades for every trade, right? Like that's what I built up. That's what I learned how to do really fast. If I have one HVAC guy and he says I can't be there for 3 weeks, yeah, you think I'm just going to sit there? No. Like I'm going to call. I need to make sure I have somebody on standby.
Hearing you say that reminds me, there was this house back during the pandemic that we were working on. It's now a wonderful midterm rental that we have. But I pull up one day and I just sodded the yard and it was a light mist. And this dude had backed up to the back patio with, it was a little truck, his little, Ford Ranger or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, my brand new sod had ruts in it. And my wife's like, I don't know if I've ever been more scared of you in my life. I was like, no, because it's not even like the money it cost you, it's the disrespect, right? Like, I mean, we're trying to make something nice, brand new. I mean, why? But I don't even give a dang if it's brand new or not. I don't care if I'm going to put sod in or not. You leave a rut, I wasn't planning on replacing that rut, number one. Number two, when you drive off, you're probably going to spray mud on my patio. Number three, don't be lazy, just walk to the house.
100%.
That's the way I feel about it. But I grew up, my stepdad was a superintendent for a track home builder in our hometown. So my job was changing out hardware sets and sweeping up houses all day, every day. So
that goes.
And he was a trim carpenter too. So it's kind of like everything has to be perfect at all times.
Literally.
My favorite thing ever in a house was building a custom stair rail.
Really?
Have you ever done that?
I haven't. I mean,
like the ones that like you glue together and you have to like clamp on every step. Oh my gosh. Such tedious work. But when you have that beautiful output that like you built that.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
Can't beat it. All right. So new construction, everyone's out there saying, oh, we have a housing shortage. Oh, we have a housing shortage. New construction's where it's at. Where do people screw up when they get into new construction?
I truly think they screw up when they don't understand their market. I mean, even for me, like we just finished this custom build and, we're selling it at $450. But it's in a golf course community, hence why we decided it was on a bigger 10,000 square foot lot. it fits. It's something that will sell. Like we just had another walkthrough today. I mean, just
I'd imagine 450 in the golf course community in the Houston area.
we're North Conroe. That's the area. So if we were
Still
at
a Houston area for us in Dallas.
well, that's true.
Just so you know. But I would imagine still 450 is not the high end of the price point.
It's higher end when you're, to me, when interest rates are at 8% and killing everybody right now. Like,
But there's been houses that sold for more than 450 in that subdivision.
really, they stay around the 450 to 550 at the highest end.
Yeah. So anyway, so you realize that's a 20% difference. So
Well, they don't want to stay. Like even we had 15 we did an open house. We had 15 people come in just to walk it. Some of them were from the neighborhood, and they're like, God, it's gorgeous. We don't even have any houses like this out here because most of those houses are old. It's all built out. But they don't want to. They want to spend 300, 350, even though it's a beautiful home and it's worth.
oh, so it's not a new construction golf course community.
No,
I got you.
Yeah.
So back to your story. I interrupted you. 450, beautiful house. Had another walkthrough today. Continue. I didn't mean it. I took you way off.
No, you're good.
A rabbit hole over it.
That's all right. That's what we do. As far as affordability is what you need to focus on. Like, so right now we understand that you can build a house and sell for $225, $245. That will be bought probably in the market for 5 days. People are still saying nobody's buying. I'm like, I have my real estate license. My fiance has her real estate license. My mom has her. We see it all. We know what happens. Well, we see these houses get bought up within a couple of weeks that are at the price range people can afford, right? The average household income where we're at is around like 105 household. That means whether it's married couple or not,
Right.
that's the average.
Oh, yeah.
That means they can afford $300,000 house because the banks will say they can. What they should be affording is something around 225 to 250. Like I'm saying, that's
Right.
in their range. So our niche that we're really focusing on moving forward, we're about to buy 2 more lots, and it's going to stay in that range. But my motto now is affordable luxury living. If I can lose 5 to 10 grand profit, not a big ordeal in the grand scheme of things, unless you have thousands of house going in, then I understand that. But give them the waterfall countertops, quartz, clean, open concept, make it super nice where they feel like they're getting a luxury house out of something they can truly afford. Instead of something that's like, has a tiny half bath, 1 full bath. I've seen them where they're barely 15, 20 feet wide, and they're just tiny, not good looking homes. All siding on the outside, vinyl or cheap plastic vinyl.
Well, that's another thing. So what's happened recently is they're talking the national media. New home sales are going down, and so are new home prices. And it's like, yeah, but they're all building Cracker Jack houses now, right? Like, I mean, there's a subdivision down the road here in Dallas where Lennar is building 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1-car garage, 2-story houses.
Are they condos or are they houses?
They're houses. They're basically row houses.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, now, but the price point's below 200.
Yeah.
Do you know how many other new construction houses there are in Dallas below 200? Zero.
Yeah. 100%.
Right? So they're going to win on affordability, but you're saying you're kind of focused on affordability, but still providing not a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 2-story, 1-car garage house that has all siding.
Right. Something you feel, I would say, confident in buying, like you have your own custom house. I'm almost there. We're almost there. Yeah, something you can truly like, you're like, I appreciate what I'm buying versus like, I'm only buying this because that's all we got. Right. I hate that for people. I think that's crazy. That's what the world has come to where they have to buy something they don't even really want just because that's all they can afford, and it's a new construction build.
Right.
They could go buy a 1985, 1995 house for the 200-something thousand, but it's 1995, 1985 finishes. Right. So the new build with the luxury feel, that's truly what we're trying to offer.
So we're going to take a quick break, come back, and I want to talk a little bit about like wholesaling and kind of the way your business is set up. All right. So stick around. We'll be right back. At RCN Capital, we know that time is money. With our competitive rates and quick turnaround time, you can receive funding in as little as 10 days. We offer flexible payment plans to relieve the pressure of repayment process. Our team is experienced in making sure that you choose a loan that will suit you best. Get on the phone with the loan officer today by emailing info@rcncapital.com or clicking the link in our bio. Welcome back to Uncontested Investing. I'm Tim Harris. Thanks for sticking around. I'm still here with Dustin James. Dustin, I want to ask, earlier you said you wholesale, but it seems like new build's where you're at. Maybe you quit your job too early. Could you talk a little bit? I like to start with now, right? Like where your company's at, what it looks like, what your core focus is, and maybe kind of your plans for the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, so for us, wholesaling was never really where I wanted to go. I actually got into it because I'm sure you've met him before, Anthony Tedesco. I think you've had him on here already.
He was last week's episode.
Nice. So I got with him and kind of explained kind of what he does. And I was like, man, that sounds pretty awesome. I already had my license as a realtor. I didn't really care for that part of it. I was like, I don't want to deal with clients every single day, being held back by doing showings all the time or doing listings. And he kind of explained what he does. And I was like, man, I've had somebody wholesale me one of my flips. And I was like, I actually found out like a year later, he made 40 grand on me on the flip. I still made 70 grand on that flip.
He didn't make it on you. He made it on the house, in fairness.
Well, 100%.
All right.
That's fact. But I didn't, this was somebody we knew, and he said he was going to make around like 15. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess. I didn't even know what it was, right? At the time.
Well, he was planning on you negotiating him down. You just forgot to.
I guess. I didn't know. That was my first flip.
You paid 25 G's more than he would have sold it for.
That was my first flip, so I didn't really quite understand.
But that's one of the lessons in this business.
100%.
If there's, great mentor of mine taught me, only worry about what's on your plate. Don't worry about what's on someone else's, right? You knew you were going to make 60 grand. I'm guessing at that point in time, you hadn't made 60 grand a whole lot of times.
No.
So, like,
I was ecstatic, right? It was my first one. I was like, this is amazing. Like, this is going to be awesome. But as far as really what we decided to move into was, with Anthony, he kind of explained it. So he's like, hey, come check out this conference we're going to in Dallas. And it was Donovan Ruffins. And I was like, man, that's good. It's a VIP. To be VIP and be around all them, there's going to be like 3 grand or 5 grand or whatever it was. And I was like, I don't have that like kind of money to just be like, yeah, it's cool. Let's just go do that for a conference when I don't even know what I'm going to get out of it.
Right.
He was like, I'm telling you. So I literally tell him, I think the day before I was like, hey, I think I want to do it. He was like, dude, they already sold out of tickets. Me being I'm like, I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you have. Everybody's a person to me. I don't care where you're at and what level like life you're in. But so I just reached out straight to Donovan. I Instagram messaged him. I found him on his Instagram stuff, and I was like, "Hey, I can't quite afford the $10,000 VIP, but what kind of ticket can I get?" I said, "I got $1,000. What can you do with that? If not, I don't want a free handout. If you can't do anything, I'll get the next one." And immediately, probably 10 minutes later, his main marketing guy, Dell, reached out to me, called me, and I was like, hello? And he's like, hey, is this Dustin? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, hey, this is Dell. I'm with Donovan Ruffins' team, blah, blah, blah. Hey, man, like, we'll go ahead and let you in the VIP section for that $1,000 if you're cool with that, because we just had somebody say they're not going to make it. If you want to do it, it's last minute. I already missed the first day, which was the day you're supposed to go in there, hang out with them in the office, really get to know everybody.
Right.
I missed all the main reason, like, you pay them big money, so I was just coming the second day that really...
And you got to be like in the green room or whatever.
Right,
yeah.
Right. So I was like, okay, I'll be there, I guess. Like, I hung up, got my stuff packed, and left first thing the next morning. And, man, listen to them. Like, if you learn anything about me, I'm not perfect by any means. I have a past like everybody else. But I'm big in faith, right? Like, God is number one no matter what. And everybody that got up on that stage, including Donovan, spoke about God and spoke about, like, this is what we believe in and this is our top priority, so on and so forth. Then family, then business, then finance, everything. And I was like, this is for me. And he's put up, at the end, of course, put that whole, pay $20K, you get $5K off today if you sign up today. And I was like, dude, I got to do this. Like, I don't know what it is, but I feel it in me. If I need to do this right now. So I got with Anthony, actually, because he was helping him move all his VIPs and everything to get them paid up. And I was like, I'm just going to do it. Well, fast forward 4 months, we've already, we haven't sold the flip. We did another flip because of this. I made 30 grand in 2 months on wholesaling. I was like, what is this? I can't believe I closed my first one, made 20 grand in 2 weeks. And I was like, what is this?
That was the price of admission.
Oh, literally. So I was like, I literally just paid for itself within a month and a half of doing it. And I was like, what in the world? I do another one, make another 20 grand. I'm like, holy crap. So I put that money into a flip. We partnered on this one with, not for the money wise, I funded it, they're flipping it. But we're going to make after the loan agreement, because it was with a hard money lender, I'd say we're going to make about 104. And for me, that's like crazy. I'm going to make my first, 6-figure year out of working for someone else, working on my own. And I'm like, holy crap, this is happening, right? Like I'm all excited.
It's a great feeling.
Right. Like I didn't even know this was a possibility.
I told the story a couple weeks ago. Like when I got out of the Marine Corps, I was making $1,810 a month as a sergeant. And if we went to combat, we got an extra $100, but it was all tax free. So it was kind of like getting an extra $300 in beer money.
Right.
Right. And then I get out and I sold life insurance for a year. And I'll never forget the first week I made $6,000. I mean, like just because I worked hard, right? Like it was 3 months worth of combat pay.
Yeah.
For a week. And like at that point, I decided like no one will ever tell me what my time is worth again.
Right.
And I've like lived true to that. I mean, there's this kid I coached in Little League football named Juvie. He reaches out to me one day. He goes, "You know Donovan Ruffin?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Coach Tim, could you introduce me?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." Like, but he wants to get into wholesaling, and he'd been following Donnie on social media. Like, It's just, I don't know. I love that part of this business. Like, number one, find your tribe, right? Find the people that resonate with what you believe in. Don't give up what you believe in to get what you want,
100%.
because you'll never be happy, and then you'll end up losing it. And I've learned that the hard way. Like, there's been times in my career that I've sacrificed what I want for what I or what I believed in for what I wanted, and it always seems to be taken back, right? And the times that I stick with what I believe in to get what I want, that's when it's not only truly successful but also very, very fulfilled.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now you're going to be rich. What's next for your shirt says Texas Kings Capital?
Yeah, Texas Kings Capital. That's the investment company.
Is that like a motorcycle club? Where's Texas Kings? What is that?
That's just being a Texas King. Like you run. That's the way I see it. Like you don't let somebody tell
Everyone our Northeast listeners. No, I'm just kidding. We love them.
We love everybody. But no, for me, it was like, man, there's Texas Queens. But for me, Texas Kings was not just started to, my end goal is to help other young entrepreneurs really get there. Because my mom's an entrepreneur. She is.
In Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But she is.
Share that story, please. Like, share how you watched her struggle. Like, share the story.
So us growing up, I mean, it was both of my parents did really well until they split, and they still held on and did well. My dad owns a locksmith company. My mom owned a hair salon, and it was a nice big commercial building. It was great. As far as being an entrepreneur, I felt like I was more pushed to go into college, 110%. It was like, oh, the security of a job and this and that, even because they knew how hard it was, right? Like they didn't want to. And what I see now at this age, like at that age, I was like, why don't you believe in me? Why don't you trust me to do what I know I can do? And then you get older and you realize they just want what's best for you because they're scared that if you did fail, what it could happen. And now that like resonates crazy, like a lot to me, but I'm like,
well, now you're thinking about getting married and having kids and stuff. And it's like,
but I'm the opposite now. Like I will never, I know what not to do, in my opinion. If my kids want to pursue something in business, I'm going to teach them business, right? School's not going to teach them that. You know that. I know that. They're teaching things. We're not going to get into that, but they're teaching a whole lot of things we don't want our kids to learn.
Well, the other day, my 14-year-old son, so my kids have better credit than me. We've had them credit cards since they were like 10 or whatever.
See?
And my son has this, we've got this American Airlines gold card or something. And he just lays it on the counter. And I was cooking dinner and my wife was drinking wine or something. I don't know, we were just hanging out in the kitchen and I was making like venison steaks or something. And he goes, "Dad, what does an interest rate have to do with a credit card?" And he's 14. And I was like, well, first off, why are you asking? What are you about to ask me to let you spend my money on?
Yeah.
Like, because he's mathematical, right? He's like going to figure this out. Like, if he's asking for $100 thing, he needs to understand all the other part. And I was like, well, here's the way it works. You spend now, and then there's a statement, there's a grace period, then interest is applied to your outstanding balance, blah, blah, blah. He's like, 22%, that's high, Dad. I was like, well, yeah, but they want you to like not carry a balance and pay it off. But if you're going to carry a balance, then, they want to charge you for it. And you have to use credit wisely because it may be 22%, but if you're using that 22% as your 20% down payment, and I got really advanced, we have a whiteboard in my office, like to do this stuff. I was like, if that's part of your down payment, let's go in here. And I'm going to show them, it's like, well, there's this thing called a blended rate, right? So say you had no money into it and you're paying 22% on this 20% and 8% on this 80%, right? So like your blended rate's actually around 12. Well, if you're making 20% on that money, you're making 8% on top of everyone else's money.
Right.
He was like, oh. I said, yeah, then you can pay it off. And then you're making 20% on the 8%, 80%, and your return goes through the ceiling. He was like,
14 asking these questions.
Well, and not just asking the questions is what you just said. No, I didn't mean to take over yours.
No, go ahead. I like to hear that, to be honest with you.
But we don't mind taking our kids to class, right? Like, if you're going to ask, you're going to get the full answer.
Right.
Not it's an interest rate, something that is high on a credit card and you shouldn't use them.
Yeah.
Like, no. My wife has been doing this house buying business longer than me, and she bought her first house on a credit card advance. Like, it was so funny. Like, I heard this lady at Fund and Grow teaching about it in Orlando recently, and I'm over here like, my wife was doing that 25 years ago. Like, the people at the bank hated to see her coming because they knew she was getting 5 G's off of this one, 5 G's off of this one, 5 G's off of this one, 7,000 off of this one, 2,000 off of this. Like, she said she would tie a teller up for like an hour doing cash advances on her credit cards to get enough cash to go to the auction. Well, then if she didn't buy anything, she'd bring it right back.
Oh my gosh, and put it back.
Yeah, because, but yeah, so people have been doing this forever. And I agree. We, this generation of entrepreneurs, owe it to children. And frankly, even if they're not our children, through social media, things like this podcast, to help educate America on how to be in charge of their life. And you can't be in charge of your life if you're not in charge of your finances.
100%. 100%. That's what I tell people. Like, my biggest thing is about finances is like, I've never been like somebody that's like, I have to have a bunch of money, right? It was more or less the freedom that a bunch of money gives you to allow you to enjoy your life, grow generational wealth, and that goes to your kids, your grandkids, whatever, so on and so forth. But it's the freedom it allows you that the country really wants us to have, but doesn't want us to have. So teaching people to really grasp it, understand it, figure out how they can get it, and I'd say prosper from it.
Well, look, here's the deal. The reason real estate is so tax advantageous in America is all the congressmen and senators have to own a house where they live, and then they want to own something where they have to go work most of the time. So don't think that the laws don't favor the lawmakers, right? So my thing is like, I just copy them, right? Like, it's like, hey, oh, that's awesome. I'm doing it too, right? So like, they want you to be rich. They do. Like the lawmakers want you to be rich, but they want you to have to go through enough hoops to where you're going to appreciate it and then allow it to continue. Because if everyone got to do it, there wouldn't be any room for it. Like, I ain't say it like that. Like,
no, it's true.
And I'm not the kind of guy that would be at a seminar that you would actually follow and give you his mentorship, because I'm going to tell you, I love money. And I do this solely for money. You are a nice guy. But if we weren't working here, we probably wouldn't be hanging out together. I'd be at the ranch, or I'd be home with my kid. Yeah. Right? Like, you're here to make money. And it's like, my employees, they're not inviting me to Thanksgiving, right? If I'm dying of cancer, they're not showing up to the hospital to hold my hand when I pass away.
Yeah.
Like, let's just be real. And I told this young kid today that I loaned some money on an assignment because he needed his earnest money on his next commercial deal. And it's expensive. This is not an RCN Capital loan. This is a Tim Heritage loan. I was like, I'll give you the 10 grand. It's a $2,500 loan fee. It's 10% a week, paid weekly via Zelle, Cash App, or Venmo. You don't pay, I'm swooping in and taking everything. And I'm suing you. Now, mind you, I love this kid. I've known him for a long time. Not the kid I was talking about earlier, different kid. But I just told him, I sent him in a text, read the documentation very carefully. This is transitioning from friends and family to business. And you don't want to be on the other side of collections with Tim Heritage. And I said that, and I meant it because I was trying to scare him away from the transaction. Because from the moment he accepted that wire of $10,500 today, the relationship has changed. And if I call and you cry, I just see blood in the water, and maybe I can get more than you owe. Like, I'm sorry. My business is my business. My charity goes to St. Jude. I feel sorry for sick kids, not entrepreneurs that don't know how to run their shit.
I agree 100%. I actually like that you said that.
It's what I believe, man. Like, if you borrow money from me, again, this is not RCN, this is Tim Heritage. RCN, we love you, we'll be nice to you. But if you come to me with your hand out in a business fashion, and I've put money in your hand, it's a business transaction.
Thank you.
I mean, and that's where what you're talking about with the subs. Like, man, I'll be nice to you, I'll buy you tacos and stuff, but dude, if you put your food on my countertops, I will scream at you.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, you'll leave my job site. I can't stand it. It's like you said earlier, it's a disrespect thing. Like, and I'm more about respecting anybody. Like, if you disrespect me, you lose that relationship with me on the spot. There's no, oh, you get a second chance. It's like,
worst thing that ever happened to me when I was a project manager. I'm at this Hooters restaurant downtown, and back then we all had these old toolboxes with like the wings on the side and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And all my tools were in it. My nail bag, my skill saw, my level, everything. And I come out of that restaurant after eating lunch, and I see both of them are open. And my gut sinks. And I get over there, and everything's gone. I think there may have been a screwdriver left. I didn't need a screwdriver. And it was like someone stole my livelihood. And that's one of those things, like, it sticks with you. Like that feeling of I cannot work because they stole my livelihood, right? Like, I can't put a nail in with my fist, right? I mean, you can, but you're not going to work very long, right? Like in Fred Flintstone and The Rock, they just can't do that, right? So, man, I hear you. You got me on a tangent. It's all your fault. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the Money Minute and closing thoughts. Stick around. We'll be right back.
REI Inc. is a monthly business publication for real estate investors, covering all types of real estate investments and strategies. It is the most comprehensive real estate investment publication on the market. All of the articles are written by the top leaders in the industry, so investors are assured of always getting the best information possible. Each month, REI Inc. also profiles the top companies in the industry and provides insights and data into key regional markets. Along with their sister platforms, the REI Referral Network and Highest Invest, real estate investors have exclusive access to off-market investment opportunities and national acquisition and disposition initiatives. To learn more, visit www.rei-inc.com, where you can also access the REI Referral Network. Also, be sure and visit www.highest-and-vest.com to view the latest exclusive off-market assets with near immediate acceptance decisions and closing strategies. You can also email marketing@rei-referralnetwork.com to request more information.
Welcome back to Uncontested Investing. We are going long, but we're having fun. I'm still here with Dustin. Dustin, let's just dive right into the Money Minute.
All right.
Money Minute is my favorite part of the show. 60 seconds. There's an entrepreneur. There's a young person. There's an old person that's new in the business. There's someone out there that they need advice. I want you to dig deep in your soul, the best 60 seconds of whatever you got. You ready?
I'm ready.
Take it away.
Focus on your network because it is your net worth. I know everybody says it, that's the main saying, but I'm not kidding when I say that. I've met more people in the profession to teach me what I need to know to get to where I'm going, to further my success and my business. I would not focus on every little detail, logos, ads, all this stuff if you can't afford it. You can go knock on doors, you can go stick signs in a yard for $20. If you don't have $20, be honest with you, go get a job and save up money. That's not what you need to do. You can do things that are free But reality is you have to have capital. Focus on gaining your capital. Get at least $50K in your account before you leave a job, and focus on using that capital with the professional advice you've gotten. Do not just go out there thinking you're going to make millions of dollars because you saw a cool video in an hour and you think you can do it. It's not that easy. It's fun. You really got to love every minute of what you're doing. But you need to focus on building systems, processes, and understanding the business that you're good at. Do not do 3 different businesses at one time. I've tried it. It doesn't work. You need to focus at what you're truly good at. For me, it's new construction, and be the best at it. I mean, just get your system and process in line to where somebody looks at you and you explain it one time and they're like, wow, you really know what you're talking about. How can you help me?
All right, so I've gone a little long. I'm going to dive straight into rapid fire. Real quick, I saw you in Atlanta in August or whatever it was. I'm like, this dude needs to be all new construction all the time. I heard you say earlier you did your first one in your name. Huge milestone.
Huge milestone for me.
When will it be that you only build for yourself?
For, like, consistently?
Period. Only.
Well, that was my first one.
No, we're going to get to a point where that's the only thing you do is build for yourself.
Oh.
When are we getting there? We're saying it for the world to hear. Into 2024? Or you don't want to do that?
No, I do my thing is flips make a lot of money.
You can still do flips.
New builds I'm about to buy for us. I think next year we'll do at least 10 builds under JD Homes, my home building company. We'll do at least 10. That's the goal, right? I want to do 20. 10 I think is feasible.
I really believe, like I'm telling you, I'm a great reader of people. I think like you're the next DR Horton. And I know Don. Like I coached his grandkid.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm telling you, like, I'm making his business plan now. This is the way it works. All right.
That gets me excited anyway.
I think you need to be building a house. I think you've got a natural, just an amazing ability to do it. And you just talked about doing what you're great at.
True.
You seem to be just completely great at it. And I highly encourage you to, when you're my age, be like, no, I'm the largest home builder in Houston.
That's a goal. I mean, I'm not saying it's not the goal.
No, it's on mission.
It's not the mission. What I don't want is to end up like DR Horton, and
they may worth billions of dollars.
Well, of course I do, and that's where I would like to go. But it's also one of those, and eventually I won't care, I'm sure, because business is business, as we talked about.
Oh,
but being like, I hear all the time, like, they're the number one builder, right? But everyone I talk to is like, yeah, they build shit homes. I'm like, they really don't. They're nice houses. They give them as much as they give
away, though.
And that's what I'm trying to do. But I don't know that I'll ever be building as many.
Maybe not the biggest. How about the best home builder?
Now you're talking. I will be the best home builder. That's my.
And we put a smile on his face with that one, guys.
Yes.
All right. So we've talked about a lot. I've interrupted you. I act like I'm in charge of your business. You can send me my consulting retainer later. We're out of time. This is I say it every episode. Parting thoughts, parting shots, anything we haven't talked about that you would like to convey to the audience.
Focus on, I would say, everything that you do, you love every day when you wake up. That's my biggest thing. I feel like people nowadays are so depressed because they do things they don't love. If you find it and you're good at it and you love it, stick to it and get amazing at it. That's how you're going to make money.
And the only caveat to that is in 2018, I started eating a lot of barbecue. You should not do that every day because that's how I got to where I was 240 pounds. So just FYI, make sure you're healthy while you're eating.
Be healthy and work out while you do all this.
All right. Parting thoughts, parting shots. You're good. How do people get in touch with you? Angel Investor wants to help you make you be not the next DR Horton Homes, but the best JD Homes.
Yes. You can see on Instagram, we have the Dustin James. You can follow me there. Facebook, or JD Homes. If you want to call me, you can call me. My number's on all of that. Email is Dustin@texas txcapital.com. That's txcapital.com. But if you want to reach out, please do, because we're looking to build something big. We're young, we're ready to grow, and we're looking to be the next best builder.
The next best builder. And I've been in rooms with this guy, and I'm telling you, if you're out there and you're wanting to get involved in new construction, in mainly the Houston area, right?
100% for now.
Houston, Conroe, etc. You definitely need to reach out to him. You'll be glad you did. So we're out of time. Just remember, your network is your net worth, and today you've been growing both. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to Uncontested Investing. Questions about today's episode or the podcast? Email podcast@rcncapital.com and make sure to follow REI Inc. magazine on LinkedIn and Facebook, and RCN Capital on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. See you all next time.